Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do another episode of the E.T.N podcast. It's been a little while, and I thought this would be a nice bridge between the next series of videos coming out that I have planned. But I hadn't done one of these in a while, and I have been doing a lot of editing on my videos, so I didn't want to get burned out too quick. So I thought I'd do something a little bit more off the cuff, no script, just straight up talking about recent things because, there's been some media stuff that I've been wanting to talk about that I necessarily haven't planned into video format. For example, I've been keeping up with DareDevil. I had originally planned to do a Monster Hunter Wild review, but I'm just going to talk about it here and then just kind of go from there. I don't suspect this video will be too long, but it will be longer than my more scripted videos that you guys have been watching. By the way, I hope you guys really enjoy those. I know it's very different from what I've done pretty much the whole time I've been on YouTube. I do find it beneficial in the sense that it's easier to edit out any mistakes I make, but the editing, the time that it takes to edit the videos comes more so when I start editing footage and little in-betweens and stuff like that to try to keep a nice pace on the video. That's really where the time crunch is. I would say it takes me about 6 hours to edit those videos you've been seeing me do for the past couple of weeks. But it is paying off. The channel has seen pretty much all my numbers are in the green, which is kind of expected. I haven't really done this much content in a long time, so it's only natural that my content, everything's gonna be in the green. I think it'll be a better indication to see how things are like maybe another 3 months from now. But anyway, don't want to get into that. Couple of things. Friday night, tomorrow night, I will be on Anubis's channel. We're going to be talking about 2 horror movies. I know horror is not usually my thing, but every now and then I do dabble into it, and it's probably the one genre that I have a lot of critique for because I do enjoy horror movies, but they have to be particularly good, not just for the sake of like horror and blood and guts. I like that stuff. It's all good, but it's got to come with a good story, or there's got to be some sort of satire in there. So, but I don't remember the name of the second movie, but I know one of the movies we're going to be discussing is Trick or Treat, which is obviously directed by Mike Doherty, who did King of the Monsters. Both movies are like a kind of like Tales from the Crypt and, what's the other one? There was Tales from the Crypt and there was, I think, Creepshow. Anyway, they're kind of like in that format where there's a series of different stories. So I'm actually looking forward to those because I liked those horror movies back in the day because of those little story formats in between. Then there was Tales from the Dark Side. I forgot about that one. So we're going to be discussing that tomorrow. It's going to be, I think, around 7 o'clock. We're going to do it. Fat Samurai Guy was supposed to be there, but unfortunately he's sick. So, so I'll be on his stream tomorrow night. And then in terms of videos coming up, I have a long list of videos. It's never going to end. Every week that I'm planning and I'm starting to work on one video, I get like several ideas for other videos. So, but obviously one of the next ones we're going to do is we're going to continue the best of the best series. This one's going to be good though. We're going to be doing the best solo Godzilla movies. So that's obviously Godzilla 54, Godzilla 84, Shin Gojira, and Godzilla -1. So that'll be a lot of fun to get into that. But first thing I want to open up with is DareDevil. Because, obviously Marvel has been on the decline for a while now, and I don't have very much confidence in what their future is. It's not to say that I'm not going to check out some of this stuff. Obviously, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters. I think I'm going to go check out Fantastic Four. I don't have high expectations, but I expect it to be better than some of the other things they have put out. And then I'm actually pretty interested in Thunderbolts. I don't think it's going to be as bad as some people might think. I don't know. There's something about it that looks like it could be a lot of fun. So I might consider watching that in the theaters as well. But in terms of Daredevil Born Again, I have been enjoying it quite thoroughly. It's been a very good show. I like that it's obviously like a continuation from the Netflix show. But it's definitely, I find that the story is a little bit stronger. Now, the advantage to that may be because they've already established everything from the Netflix show, but there's a lot of good storytelling here, and I haven't seen writing quite this good in terms of Marvel related stuff in quite some time. So obviously I've seen the most recent episode with episode 4, where they finally show the Punisher, and I love seeing John Bernthal as the Punisher, so that's great. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying the show. I'll probably do a full review of it when the show's over. I'll do a dedicated video reviewing the whole show. But what I will say is that at this point, I'm enjoying it. I like that they are taking risk. I'm familiar with the comic they're basing this on, so that's got me a little concerned for Karen. Where she's going, because we haven't seen her in a couple episodes, and if you know anything about the comic this is based on, she goes down quite a dark road. So we'll see if they stick with that. But yeah, story's great so far. I like how they're very lightly incorporating the MCU. It's not heavy-handed. It's very just off the cuff. They're not relying on it, and I like that. I do think they need to pull back on that some, and they've done a good job of doing it here. Now, there's still a lot of episodes left, so that could change, but at this point, I think it's really good. I think what they're doing is great, and I hope it consistently stays the way it is now, because this is probably some of the best Marvel content I've enjoyed in quite some time, probably since Spider-Man. So yeah, that's great. That's great. And in terms of the other Marvel stuff, obviously Fantastic Four and stuff like that, we know that these movies are coming. And, what I will say about Marvel is I don't have the greatest confidence in them right now. My big thing with them is I want to see what they're going to do with the X-Men. I want to see how they're going to incorporate them. And I also wanted to see if they're going to transition X-Men, if they're going to transition to the X-Men being like the focus team, like the Avengers were. I think that's a shift that they might consider doing, and I hope they do, because unfortunately they don't have the big Avengers anymore that people really care about. You know what I mean? Captain's gone, the original Captain at least, and Iron Man's gone. So, Captain America, as much as I like Anthony Mackie and it made a lot of sense for him to be Captain America, unfortunately this has not worked out. Once again, just poor writing. I haven't seen the movie yet. I will check it out when it comes on stream. But from what I hear and from what I gather, it's another writing issue again. So, when you look at the Avengers, they're not really the team that it was. There's really no appealing members there. And yeah, I mean, you could say Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's always been like a guest star member of the Avengers. He's always been a solo character. And I suspect when they do, or when the 4th Spider-Man movie comes out, I suspect that'll do fine. I'm not worried about Spider-Man. Marvel has seemed to taking good care of that IP, even though it's borrowed. But everything else has been pretty much mediocre. So the X-Men is really what I'm looking forward to. I've never been a big Fantastic Four fan to begin with. My excitement with the Fantastic Four stems primarily from that leading to the X-Men arriving. Now, in terms of what they're going to do with the X-Men and what kind of stories they're going to tell, there's so many different ones. My biggest prayer, my biggest hope, and if there are some hardcore X-Men fans out there, I think they would probably agree with this. My biggest hope is that they do the Inferno Saga. It's a very similar saga to the Infinity Stones, but it centers around the X-Men. And it centers around an invasion of demons from Limbo. Now, if you don't know what Limbo is like Mephisto's realm. And in Inferno, Mr. Sinister is one of the main villains. And basically what happens is they use Darkchild to get the portal open, because she has powers that link her to Limbo. Darkchild's an X-Men. I know her last name is oh my god, I forget her name. But Darkchild is like her surname, her X-Men name. But she has a primary name, and I can't remember it, which is crazy because she's actually in the Marvel Rivals game. She's the one that uses the sword, in case you're wondering who I'm talking about. But she doesn't go by Darkchild unless she transforms into Darkchild. So, but anyway, the story focuses on her being used as a way to open a portal for all these demons. And then there's the Goblin Queen, who was manipulated by Mr. Sinister. And it gets pretty crazy. You get certain villains that turn into demons, like the Hobgoblin turns into a demon. Spider-Man's involved. This comic book series spread across a bunch of comics during the 90s when it came out. So the Fantastic Four were involved, the Avengers were involved, the X-Men were like the centerpiece. You also had X-Factor, and the New Mutants were also involved. And Darkchild is one of the New Mutants. So Darkchild is Magic, for those of you who don't know. And Magic's name is Ilyana Rasputin. So I had to take a second because it drove me crazy that I couldn't remember, considering that I'm very familiar with the character because she was around in the 90s. Not to mention, I loved using her character in Midnight Suns, in the game Midnight Suns, because she's incredibly powerful. She's got like this crazy the super move where she like has one turn where she's immune to any damage. So she's like a mega tank in that game. She can have one pivotal round where she taunts all the enemies. They all attack her and she takes no damage. It's like an OP skill that she has. But anyway, so Magic can become Darkchild. And she does that. And when she does that, it's a connection to Limbo. And then, so Inferno is a very, very great like saga in the X-Men, but there's also a lot of other ones that they could consider. Obviously, House of M is another very popular saga, and considering where Scarlet Witch is now in the MCU, it wouldn't surprise me if that's like their number one choice to go with, is the House of M story. And then you have Magneto's, there's a major storyline with Magneto, the trial of Magneto. I mean, there's so many. The Phoenix Saga, obviously, which is another one. I think the Phoenix Saga and House of M will probably be their two big ones to aim for. But if they want to do the whole Avengers type thing with a big mega threat and all this, then I think the Inferno Saga is probably the one to go with. So, but regardless, they have a lot of great storylines they can use from the X-Men. So, I'm just hopeful that it's Inferno because I would love to see that play out in the movies, but we'll see. Now, moving on, in some small Monsterverse news, obviously we know that the production has completed now for Monarch Season 2. So this means they got the core of everything they wanted done. I think probably these last few months they're going to be fine-tuning, going back, crossing T's, dotting I's. And I would say, let me see, we're going into April in a couple of weeks, in about another week and a half. April, May, June. I would say somewhere around June and July, we'll probably get our first teaser. And then we'll get a full-fledged trailer like in August. And then we'll probably get our first few episodes in October. So this kind of seems like it's on schedule. It seems like they got everything on schedule. I think it was like a month ago or a month and a half ago, they wrapped filming, and now they wrap, production. So, no, was it longer than that they wrapped filming? I don't know. It seems pretty quick though, that production wrap, So yeah, that's great. So that seems to be, it's going to be on schedule, and it's going to be another year with a very backloaded kaiju, depending on when Troll 2 comes out. But right now it looks like it's Troll 2, probably like sometime in the summer. You got Monarch, and then you also have, the Godzilla Fest coming out in November. So, there's a lot of great monster stuff happening. I spoke about this in some of my videos, so I'm not going to elaborate on that too much. A lot of you guys who are monster fans know this, so no biggie there. So moving over into the gaming stuff. So I have played Monster Hunter Wilds. I think I put about 50 hours into it, and then I kind of stopped playing. I got my artisan weapon. I've pretty much killed every monster that's available right now. Arkveld. I've soloed Arkveld. Gormagola is the toughest one. I fought Tempered Gormagola, and that was a tough fight. I think I carded on that one once or twice, and then finally beat him. But he was tough because depending on the kind of gear you have, he can one-shot you. But I managed, and I play dual blades, so I'm always up in the face. And if I do that combo, that dual blades combo, and I don't time it or I don't hit it correctly, then I'm stuck in that animation, and that's usually when I get caught. But in terms of the game, it's obviously, what is it? I think at peak it had 3.4 million players at one time. I think right now it's currently sitting at about almost 600,000 concurrent players on Steam. And that's Steam. That's not including PlayStation 5 or whatever. But the game, I personally, it's a very good game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not. It's very good. I say it's a great investment. I mean, I got 50 hours out of it, but you can get a lot more. Once I beat all the monsters and I got my artisan weapon, I was like, okay, there's really not much to do anymore for me. Like, I know there's people who love the game and they'll just keep hunting monsters and go nuts and keep fighting. Once I beat every monster available, that's it. There's really nothing else for me to fight for. So I kind of move on. But yeah, I thought it was great. I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun with the pursuit of armor and weapons. The monster designs were great. Oh my God. There's a monster called Jindahad. And man, the first time I fought him in the storyline was a great experience because he traverses the map. So you know how a monster, you get it beaten down, it'll run away. But him running away was like an event. You know what I mean? Because he traverses the whole map, and while you're chasing him, you know, he's affecting the environment, so there's shit falling on you. And yeah, he was one of my favorite monsters. Kind of remind me of like Manda. You know what I mean? Like you're fighting Manda because he was big. He was a big boy. But yeah, I thought the game was a lot of fun. I played on PC. It did not do. I have a pretty strong PC. I have a 4070 Ti, which can theoretically rock out any game. And my PC was struggling playing this game. There were some days where it didn't crash very much, but it did crash once or twice. And it just turned up the temperature on my computer. I mean, my computer comfortably sits between, 52 degrees to maybe 60, depending on what I'm doing. Man, my PC heat was hitting 80% CPU, not only usage, but the temperature was up to like 80 degrees. And CPU usage was always sitting at around 70 to 75%, which is insane. Especially for a game that, while it is very beautiful, I've played games with much better graphics that don't chew up that many resources. I mean, Cyberpunk, I play Cyberpunk on 4K, full to the max settings, all this stuff, and it doesn't suck up that many resources. So the optimization for the game for the PC is not very good. It's not to say you won't enjoy it. It's not to say that it's not going to look beautiful. And it's not to say that it's not even going to run well, but I think you would have to have a computer with those high specs to have a good experience, or at least a decent one. But if you're someone running the game on minimum specs or slightly higher, it's going to be a struggle. And obviously, if anyone who's watching this who has a computer that fits that description knows this already. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. The game's been out for about a month already. But overall, it is a fantastic game. There's a whole debate about whether or not it's easier than prior Monster Hunters. I would say it's more approachable and understandable. I think if you're a first-time Monster Hunter player, I still think you're going to have a hard time, learning the mechanics. I played Monster Hunter World. That was my first Monster Hunter. I don't recall, even as a first-time player in Monster Hunter, struggling. I feel like I did just as well here as I did there. And I'm not an expert. I mean, I like to play dual blades. Dual blades is a very, very aggressive weapon. So going in there and bashing the monster is, because you're so fast and because you can go in and out of your animations a lot quicker than any other weapon, the opportunity to dodge comes a lot faster than it would with, like, let's say a greatsword when you're winding up and it's taking you like 4 seconds to wind up your weapon. And not to mention, like I said, I did card a few times. I think the playthrough of the storyline is easy. I do think that. But once you get to the tempered monsters, once you get to the end game, and I know they haven't released master rank yet. I know right now it's just high rank. But once you get into high rank and you get into like level 50 and you're starting to fight tempered monsters that are 6 or I think 6 stars the max, but it might be 7. But once you fight them, you're going to see the difference in challenge. It's not challenging, especially if you're going to solo. If you solo fight a max star tempered Gormagola, and tell me that is not hard, because Gormagola was no joke. And even Arkveld. Arkveld is a pain in the ass for dual bladers because he moves around so much. So it's like the minute I get close to him to start unleashing a combo, he's jumping to the other side of the map. It's like, ugh, You know what I mean? Then I got to go and chase him down. I think what does make the game easier, though, is having the sacrets, the birds that you hop on, the kind of velociraptors. That definitely makes it easier because when you take a fall, you can immediately call your sacred to come and pick you up. So that I would say is what contributes to the ease of the game compared to the last game. The mounts make it a lot easier. Also, your kitty cat sidekick, they're a little bit more powerful this time, a little bit more impactful, especially when you level them up. Once you finish the storyline, specific quests open up for them to get significant upgrades on a lot of their passive skills or their active skills while you're fighting. So that does play a role. They do make things a little easier, especially depending on how you gear them. If you gear them to do slash damage, they can help you break parts a lot easier. And blunt damage can help you stun. So I think the game overall is a lot of fun. I think it's definitely worth the investment, even with the lack of optimization. And if you haven't played it yet and you're kind of on the fence, I would say go and get it. You're going to have a good time. You're going to get 50, bare minimum, you're going to get 50 hours. I think max is endless because I'm probably going to go back and play once the updates come out and they start adding more monsters to conquer. So I'll go back and I'll pull out my dual blade chick and if my weapon is upgradable. But like I said, I have a rarity 8 artisan weapon. I have all the decorations on my gear that I want. I got the gear that I want. I even got the look I want for my gear. So even though I'm wearing like a combination of the Gormagala gear and I think obsidian, which is like this wolf, tempered obsidian, and it's a combo that just gives incredible buffs to buff your power. So it's like I pretty much, and I use tempered, and I use my artisan weapons as a dragon, because that's all I really, after a while, that's all I fought. All I fought was dragon type monsters once I got to the like peak of the end game. So I was fighting Arkveld, Gormagala, Jindahad. That was like my rotation until I got everything I wanted. And then once I was done, I just stopped playing. But again, I got like almost 60 hours out of the game. And when you're buying a game that's like $70, you get 60 hours out of it. That's good. And you're going to get more, right? You're going to get DLC. So yeah, man, I would pick it up. If you're questioning it, if you're curious about whether or not the game is worth it, man, it is worth it. It is a lot of fun. There are some elements about Monster Hunter World that I do like better. I can't really pinpoint what it is. I would say that this one has much better quality of life changes in terms of, your prep, getting to the monster, chasing the monster down. Man, I remember in Monster Hunter World, I would chase down a monster that would take longer than fighting it. This one, it's a little bit more like when they run from you, they run far, but not to the point where you're chasing them forever or they go somewhere and you can't find them. It's pretty locked in. Plus, like I said, you have a sacred, so you're not, you're chasing after them. And sometimes you can cut off their fleeing. If you stun them or if you something like that, you can cut them off from even escaping altogether. So, yeah, man, great game, and I plan to go back to it once they update it and they add a new monster. Definitely going to go back to that. But yeah, so that's pretty much it overall. I mean, I like I said, I wanted to just kind of bridge the gap from my last video to the next video by having at least a short podcast, kind of talk about Daredevil, Monster Hunter Wilds, a little bit of Godzilla and Monsterverse stuff. There's not much there. But yeah, like I said, tomorrow I will be on DJ Anubis's stream, or if you're, depending on when you watch this, it could be today because it is Thursday night. I may not get this up till Friday. So tonight, if you're watching this on Friday, I will be on Anubis's channel doing a stream talking about Trick or Treat and another, again, I forget the title. It's not as well known because I had never heard of it. Some of you guys might have, of course, because I know there's a lot of you guys that are horror heads. But anyway, I will be on his channel at 7 o'clock. I'll leave a link in the description to reach his channel. And obviously, I will link the stream on social media, on X, as well as Facebook for you guys to check out. And we're going to do that. And yeah, next video is probably going to be Sunday. My cadence is going to change a little bit. My plan is to upload videos Sundays and either Wednesday or Thursday, if not both. My algorithm is telling me those are my best days, which is surprising to me. I didn't think Sunday would be, but apparently Sunday is actually the #1 day for me to upload a video. So it's crazy. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, so and yeah, thank you guys for continuing to support the channel and being here. I appreciate that. And yeah, just look forward to more content coming your way. And yeah, I'll see you guys hopefully on Anubis' stream tomorrow. And I'll catch up with you guys in the comment section or in chat during streams. Regular stream on this channel will return next week, next Friday. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoy this somewhat short podcast and just kind of a more direct, unscripted video that I hadn't done in a while. I know I don't want you guys to think that I don't enjoy doing those anymore. I know, like I said, scripted videos can be weird considering I've been doing freeform for like over 10 years, but I think you guys are enjoying it. And if, let me know always in the comment section. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to give you guys the best experience you could possibly get when watching a video. So feel free to comment and let me know if there's anything you'd like me to do in terms of topics, or if there's any improvements you'd like to see. Believe me, I'm very much open to it. So anyway, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.